Hello. Hello. Welcome everybody back. Here we are back on Twitch. Welcome back. I had to take a day off yesterday, guys. I was really ill. I'm feeling a bit better today. On the mend, hopefully. Yeah, we know about that quote. Alright. Just isn't enough televised chess. There just aren't enough annoying blogs on lichess. Alright. Next. We are Gather Round. Gather Round. We've got one gift sub this week for Mr. Coffee. Congratulations, Mr. Coffee. Cheer your way to the top. We haven't had a hype train in a while. We got the hype train on the way. Thanks to those of you who have supported the stream with World Senior donations. Let's take a look at our list of games for today. No comment on the Pondacam. New Pondacam. Panda's very active. He's glad to be back on the stream. Bopping around. Alright, we've got Yabatis. I think Yabatis forgot he had a game in. I was like, are you coming to the stream tonight? He's like, I don't think so. I'm going to take a nap. Alright then. I guess we don't have to do the Yabatis game first. Schumacher. Did you get my game? Mirales. Shockey. Acerbate, of course. ABC, who's really very thoughtful and he has a lot of interesting stuff. He shared with me regarding his games. What's up? Hey, it's Miro against Fran Aluminum. We met with Fran Aluminum. I met with Miro today, but it's like weird time zone. He's in Alaska, and I'm not sure what time it is when we do these streams. Sometimes Hayes Miro pops in, though. I just never understand what time it is there on the other side of the world. I would think like Alaska and Hungary are pretty far apart. Alright, so we got Yabatis from Denmark, Schumacher in Serbia, Morales from Italy, from Spain and Italy, Shockey from Sweden, Acerbate from Las Vegas, ABC FIGM in India, and Hayes Miro in Alaska. Wow, that's a good mix, man. We got a good mix here from all over. Niels Swint. Niels Wintermeister. Listen up. If dog years is times 7, does that mean that a dog experience is times 7 times slower than us? ABC FIGM, I thought you were from India. You're not from India. No, that's sorry. If you're not from India, my apologies. I don't know why I thought you had India in your profile. You're from Europe. Oh. That's weird. I don't know why. I thought I looked at your profile. I thought you had India in your profile. People put the flags. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention, but I had, for some reason, thought. My bad. So we got no one from India, because Rupunj is not here. Europe. I thought you were from India. That's weird. Okay. I had been going under that assumption for a long time for some reason. Neutral profile, no flag. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, you don't have to reveal where you're from. But thanks for correcting me. Yeah, which reminds me that Repunj is not here. He doesn't really submit like serious games, though. It sounded better, though. We had like people from like 4 different continents. Okay. 7 games. Nils, what's up? Are you gonna blackmail me? Bribe me. Don't blackmail me. Just bribing. What are we gonna do? No game? Nils. No game. You bought a house? You bought a house? Or like an apartment house? Like a house, like a traditional house with a yard and shit? Damn, he's getting some good money. An apartment, okay. You bought an apartment. You're off. You're off after coffee. What does that mean, Esterbate? I'm just collecting my thoughts here before we get started. Thursdays are generally like really long days for me, so I was sick Monday night. I got this really bad cold from the air conditioner, and I've been sick. Now I have to come up with 200K. What was I reading? Wait a sec. There was something I was reading about. That's weird. I think I just read something about something. I read something about something. Housing in the Netherlands or something. All right. I can't remember what it was now. I saw an article about everything sucks except for something. Some kind of article about foreigners living in the Netherlands where they were complaining everything sucked about it except for one thing. And I can't remember if the one thing that didn't suck was the accommodations, the housing. I can't remember. All right. Well, I need a place to move when this country goes totally, when Hungary goes totally autocracy. So I'm always looking for an alternative. Let me know if you've got a good alternative. We have full-on autocracy with 20% inflation. All right. Nils, what's the interest rate to borrow money to buy a house in the Netherlands? Just curiosity question. In the States, it's probably like 6 or 7%. In Hungary, it's like 10 or 13. I'm a migrant. I'm not an immigrant. I'm just migrant. Wow. See, that's awesome. That's like it was. Well, I don't know if it's still that low in the United States. It was, but I had the feeling it went up a little bit. Maybe it's the same in the States still. So in Hungary, it's like 10 to 13%. That's how they keep the Hungarian forint so like solid. Very strange situation we've got here, you know. That's decent, you know. That's good. All right. So let's do some chess anyway. I closed my window. Why did I close my window? All right, we're gonna start with Ibadas, I guess. We have the highest interest rates and the highest freaking inflation rates. That doesn't make sense to me. In Hungary, right? Increasing interest rates is supposed to like stop inflation. So why does Hungary have like the high interest rates and still has like out of control inflation? Something's fundamentally not okay with the economy here. I mean, that goes without saying. All right. So this is Ibadas with black. D4, knight c6. I like this move. You know, I like the Mexican defense or whatever. They're calling it the McKennis defense. You know, some people call this the Mexican defense. I call this the two knights tango. And Georgi Urlav, an old friend of Yasser Seirawan's who lives in Seattle, was the specialist. He wrote a book on it. Is Ibadas here? So But anyway, I think this is an interesting move. You know, it deserves to be played more often, probably. I bet like its statistics aren't too bad if you look. Knight c6, 44%. It just has the highest win percentage of any move for white. Wow. But its winning percentage for black isn't bad. The one notable factor of knight c6, okay, which is cool, of all the primary moves that black can play, 1, 2, 3, 4, of the top 8 moves black can play, this is the lowest draw percentage of any move, which is pretty cool. All right, obviously d5 is critical, but white played, of course, the London. Now, this is another thing. If you know your opponent is going to play the London because of Eric Rosen and all these, like, you know, robotic guys who just teach people to play the London, knight c6 is a great move to play, you know, knowing the London is going to be played against you. Now you can do like d6 and play for e5, be kind of combative. I also like to go here sometimes. Mr. Coffee, welcome. I like it when you do oh, it's interesting. Kamsky lost last year to Fedoseev. You guys think that's a real game or some garbage on garbage.com? Yeah, any bets? Any bets? Garbage.com. All right, just something. I'm going to say something here. Whoever collects the games for like lichess, blitz games from garbage.com do not belong in the master's database. Blitz games do not belong in the master database. Hello? Just saying. Wow. All right. So d5, e5. I like this. This is fun. I think Ubatis has played that before as well. But anyway, he played e6 this time. Obviously stopping d5. And now no self-respecting London player would ever play e4 here because it might be the best move. They have to do the robot approach, e3. And then someone here played d5, which is like Josef Grinberg. Why would you put your knight on c6 and then play d5? Having blocked your bishop in with e6. It doesn't make a lot of sense. D5 is just a weird move now. So I like this. This is creative. Bishop d6. Magnus did something very similar. I don't know it was the exact same position, but extremely similar. Nils, did you subscribe? Did you make a donation? Yeah, he did resubscribe. Listen up. He resubscribed for 41 months. You quit chess again. What are we going to do with him, man? So bishop d6 creative, and I thought this was funny, like knight h3 maybe for white. No one would ever be creative enough to play that move. So the normal response is like bishop g3 or bishop takes d6. White plays bishop takes d6, c takes d6. T streets. You quit chess. You quit chess once a day. I never quit chess. I just take little breaks here and there. I never quit chess. I just sort of cut back. But you know, I don't honestly like fully trust this for black. Ubatis likes it. But here again, we have another situation where, you know, objectively, white should probably not play like robotically in the London system theme, like c4, preventing this pawn from advancing. But he plays this. This is like, I have an honest question, like, what is the purpose of a3? Does anybody, I want to turn off the engine here. Sorry that's on. Seriously, like a3, what is a3 about? Does anybody understand what the purpose of that move is? Is that like, well, there's a chance he might put his knight on b4 later. Vivant. You know, I will say, like, with a white squared bishop, it's okay to have, yeah, like an a3, b4. Maybe he wants to play b4 later. Yeah, that would be the only justification. But a lot of people are like paranoid of knights coming to b4, and I recommended here. I recommended here Tibatis to play like knight e7. I was just wondering if we put our knight on e7, is there any way like we benefit from the f pawn like being able to advance? Basically, we can use all of our central pawns. So the plan would be something like knight e7, d5, d6, f6, eventually like e5. My idea is that if if you put the knight on f6, we can't like advance the f pawn, control the center. I don't know. So anyway, I think this is fine. d5 is fine. Although our bishop is very bad. It's not forever. Forever bishop. Here. Yeah, I mean, white also, like knight f3 may not be the best. But I don't know what to suggest. I mean, c4 is the normal move. But if c4 we take, and then we play another d5, although it's not forced. Black could play knight f6, d6, castles, and it's like a BOGO thing where you play d6 and e5, and I think this is actually better because we get our bishop out. If you fix yourself with the d5 structure, it's harder to get the bishop out. So there's a couple different ways. Black's pretty flexible here. Knight f6, and this move I don't like at all. I don't like a6 at all. It's just pretty much similar to a3. I think, we need to develop the king side. We need to play in the center. d6 is a no-brainer. Get some dark square control. Though maybe hold off on d6 to wait and see if white's going to play c4. I don't know. But a6 I don't understand. We have too many pawns and light squares already. There's checkers. Well, 2100, no, they're a little better than that. Black is like 1800 FIDE. b3. Black is 1800 FIDE, so I would assume his opponent is around the same. And now d6. c4. And he wanted to recapture with the pawn, obviously. And now black did play knight e7. Okay. Well, we don't want to recapture with the pawn necessarily. This is going to be a very compromised structure with no dynamics. And now he plays e5. Wow. And this looked risky because of this square being weak. But it looks like, we got our bishop out, and there's no tactical problem because this is indirectly protected by the queen on d8. But I still don't understand like why black needed to play a6. This looks fine. I don't say it's great for black, but it's not. I don't see any problem here. I don't see any like actual problem. What if the knight takes after pawn takes? Oh. That's what we're talking about. You mean like here? This type of position? Yeah, white's slightly better here. But I don't think it's anything earth-shaking. I'm not sure if white should play e4 or not. Yeah, I think black has to take with the knight. And then white doesn't have to play e4. So bishop e2, e5, d takes e5, d takes e5. And then he has to take. Queen a5 is nothing special. So white also doesn't have to make this exchange. I mean, if you just stop for a second here, It looks like white is slightly better, honestly. Maybe not, maybe not. But d4 is very solid. I mean, do you want to give up this point? Does white want to trade off this d4 point? Because I was thinking maybe we don't. Maybe we just like play, and if you want to push the e4, fine. It's a French. But the problem is like black doesn't have like a dark square bishop to attack h2. It's not sure that black's attack on the king side is all that strong and that this pawn is going to hold. I guess he'll play f5, but then, he's got all the pawns on the wrong color. Yeah, I don't know. But he gives up the d4 point. And then he like makes a mistake here, so he should take. And I would say the position is like equal at this point. Let's see. Not to say I said so, but it's like 0.0. Oh, it jumped up to 0.2 for white. All right, it's close enough. But he doesn't do that. He plays this. Is anybody out there? Any of our regulars? Do they know we're streaming? Asterbait, you better send a message to the team. Subscriber stream is on Twitch. They might be going to Kick thinking I'm streaming on Kick. They'll realize at some point. They'll realize. But we can send a message. Subscribe. If you subscribe, you can submit a game. But our game submissions are for subscribers. Actual subscribers on Twitch. Not the fake lichess subscribe. Alright, so now the position totally like collapses for white. Check this out. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. He doesn't take. And then knight c3 provoking black and d4. And suddenly white is like worse. He takes, pawn takes. Knight e4? Was that the right square? Is there a good square? I have an idea, but it's not going to work. There's a very funny line here. When you think of Broadport, do we think of knight a2? I don't know. Whenever I think of Rockport, I think of knight a2 for some reason. Knight e2 would be great if we could blockade with knight d3. And Richie likes to go with knight b4 to under... It's his way of undermining the e5 square and the d4 square. I've seen this like a couple times. But I wonder... Black has to have better than what happened in the game. Even knight a4. Knight a4. Knight a4 is tricky because of what, like b5? Takes, and then you got this. And you can come back and blockade. Black's probably better here, spatially, but the situation is kind of complex. I think he like ended up picking a bad choice, but maybe not. All right, bishop f5 now. And details. Yeah, knight b1, knight d2, too slow. It doesn't hold the d3 square. This blockading point is very important. Now what does white need to play? Well, he could have played knight g3, which gains the tempo. He also could have played simply bishop d3. It's not clear to me that white is necessarily in big trouble. We could play bishop g4 now, maybe. But white just like didn't take this seriously and played this. And now he's just lost. d3. Yeah, that's not thinking ahead. Bishop f1. Castles, and there's no way out. It would take us 3 moves to castle queenside. 3 moves to castle queenside. That's really sad, man. This is really sad. White played knight h4. There must be some drugs or alcohol involved on white's side of the board here. Rook e8, and I'm not sure Yabatis intended to submit this game, actually. I don't know. I put it in the study, but I'm not sure if he was just showing it to me. Maybe he didn't intend it as a game submission. He called it like a miniature or some kind of like appetizer. But yeah, this is horrible. This is horrible. There is no move for white. We were debating whether it's better to play knight e4 and lose the whole piece and evacuate the king to d2, or play bishop e2, but this is absurd. Yeah, so I think, like, you know, he could have played bishop d3. Either knight g3 or bishop d3. And white is fine. Okay, onward and upward. Schumacher. Do we have any viewers? Is anyone out there? Yeah, alright, we're streaming. Okay. I just want to make sure we're streaming. Did I just close it? Oh my god. Sorry, guys. I just closed it. Dude, what is that? I don't edit my shortcut. Wow. Dude, I hate these blog guys. It's so gross. I don't know who's worse, check raise mate or Noel Studer. But I like started playing chess on lichess to avoid the advertisements, and it's just getting to be more and more of these guys with the constant blog posts with their pictures and stuff. If I wanted commercial blog posts from people, I would freaking, you know, go to cheese.com. I don't need to see that crap. Put it down further on the screen where we don't have to see it when we log in. All right. Study. We're back. 10 viewers, 12 viewers. No, subscriber streams never really had that many viewers, but none of our guys are here. Just you, ABC, and Asterbait. Yabatis not here, Schumacher not here, Morales not here, Shaki not here, Asperbait's here, ABC's here, and Miro not here. So the majority of the people who submitted games aren't here, which is weird. And Nils just did a resub, so at least we got that. I was originally going to do the stream on Kick, but Schumacher actually suggested that we do the subscriber streams here because subscribers on Twitch are the ones who are getting their submitted games analyzed, so that makes sense. Ultimately, we'll see. All right. Yeah, I don't use bots, and I don't stream on cheese.com. All right, so Schumacher is white here. Oh, no. Yeah, he submitted the game against me. All right. I hate this when people submit my games. All right, let's see what happened here. It was the Benko? No. No, this is another one. All right, I'm black. And Schumacher and I have played, like, I don't know how many games. 400? It seems like he's always white. He's white. We've played, like, 400 games. There has to be some kind of crazy statistic, man, with Schumacher. I think I would bet, like, we've played 400 games, but he's been white in, like, 250 of them or something like that. There has to be some kind of skewed thing. It's like, I guess that's possible, right? Statistically. But he must have, like, seriously, 5/8 of the games are with white. It seems like he's always white. He always plays d4. And I've run out of, like, things to play against him. Now, the Old Indian is an interesting thing. I never had a lot of respect for the Old Indian. But at the same time, Shaki is here. You think. Good to see you, Shaki. Guys, don't forget, World Senior coming up in Sicily. I'm trying to become a Grandmaster in one shot. October, November. Last time, swing and a miss. We finished 13th, but now we're going to do better. I'm gonna take him out, get the GM title in the 50 plus World Senior. So help support me to go to World Senior Sicily 2023. Make a donation via Streamlabs now. Do it now. Not tomorrow. Remember to do it now. Joe Biden. All right. So I've run out of things to play against this guy. He plays knight f3, and now I don't really like playing the King's Indian against Schumacher because he plays the Makaganov system, which is pretty good. So I decided to play the old Indian for some reason with knight on bd7, which is an opening I've never really studied, but I haven't really played against him. So I wanted to see what he does. Knight c3, e5. And in this position, the vast majority of people play d5. I'm sorry, I'm lying. It's not d5. Good players generally play e4. Nothing, I don't mean any insult to Schumacher, right? My experience, I play e4 in most cases. Most good players play e4. You'll occasionally see the g3. And bishop g5 is a thing. That's not too bad. Those are like the three main variations against the old Indian. And then you got some sidelines like e3, whatever, some sort of quiet variation. You're just basically playing the French defense against the... But what he does? He does d5 directly. Okay, now the problem with this move is I don't know what I'm supposed to do, Nobody does this. I mean, it's insane. Like, look at the Opening Explorer. There are 3,900 and what? 3,930 games, and only 21 players play d5. But the funny thing about it is, it's really not that bad. You'd think, well, if there's 4,000 games in an opening and only 20 people played it, it must be bad, right? But it's actually, I can't tell you, like, well, this is bad because of blah, blah, blah. It's not the most flexible variation, but to be honest, I don't think it's bad. I mean, we're going to transpose to what? We're going to transpose to a Petrosian system or something? Or even a Makaganov, right? Like, if I just play routinely with, like, g6, he'll play e4, I'll play bishop g7, and he'll bust the h3 on me. There we go. We're back in Makaganov system. So I wanted to play an old Indian. I played bishop e7. I have literally no idea what I'm doing in theoretical terms. I've never owned a book on the old Indian. I've never seen anyone write a book on the old Indian. But I have had a hard time with white against it. But there's only very few people who play it. The only good player I've ever had to play, really good player, was LeBron. But that was in Blitz. I've never had to play like a grandmaster in a tournament game who played the old Indian. I think Dominik Pedzic played it against me. He's like a Polish IM. But I don't think I've ever had anyone above IM test me in the old Indian. So I'm trying to play black here. Castles, and now, see, this is where, Schumacher is like not that flexible. He's like trying to force the square peg in the round hole with h3. So I'm not sure about h3. This is not the King's Indian. It's a little bit different. So at this point, black has different moves. c6, knight c5, or rook e8. Those three have been played. Those are the three best moves, no doubt. I decided to play c6. It's interesting, and knight c5 has the best score. I would anticipate queen c2, and then we'll transpose to a... I guess we transpose to a... well, we don't, because it's not a King's Indian. It's like a King's Indian Petrosian system. a5. Then my bishop's on e7 instead of g7. It's not necessarily worse. So I played c6, which was a bit more fluid. And you see here, there's a couple good games, actually. Bonch versus Pate Sr. and Grinspun versus Saltayev. And there's another game, Pigot versus Zuppi. There's a few games. Alright, so c6 now. White played bishop d3. So bishop d3 is a novelty. The computer thinks this is the best move. What's the reason for that? I mean, is it like preventing knight c5? We're preventing knight c5. Takes, and we win a pawn. Presumably. Wow. Oh my god, I don't believe it. It doesn't work. He can't take the pawn. So it's actually not that bad. This is cool. It's a misconception. People probably think like this works, but actually, d-file too dangerous. So that's interesting. The assumption is that you couldn't play bishop takes c5, but you got this. And there is one game here, but I don't understand queen c7. Maybe now this is overly supported, so bishop takes c5 becomes a threat. There's b4 and interesting. Queen a5, knight d2. I don't know, it's interesting. There's possibilities here for black. Okay, he plays bishop d3. Now we're still in book, so-called book. There's a game by Maivald, another guy I never heard of, George Hickel, Mikhail Klimberg. Morovich has a game from, wow, there's a Morovich game. Whoa, what is this? Thalia Cervantes. Oh, this is the chick that hangs out at the St. Louis Chess Club or whatever. So Morovich, she drew Morovich. Morovich is a former 2600. I mean, he's very strong. He made a run for the world senior in my section. Now a6. So I'm playing like Stefan Juric, Blinky, Maywald, and Hickel. Lots of good players on my side. Never heard of the players playing white. That's interesting. You've got 5 games here. And I've heard of 4 out of the 5 players are known players with black. Nobody with white. Bishop e3. And again, Kim Commons versus Ermenkov, 1982. So now I played queen c7, which is a TN. I don't like queen c7. I rage about this move all the time. But I should mention that it's a standard sort of happening in the Old Indian. People do it in the King's Indian, and it's like really, really bad. In the Old Indian, it's not so bad, I think, as in the King's Indian. So I defaulted with queen c7. I didn't know what to do. Everybody else played CD, and knight h5. A bunch of players played b5, fatally weakening the c6 square, which I tried to do in my game. I'll just like point you, to this. This is like game over if you can get it. If white gets something entrenched on c6, then you're basically a dead man. So I mean, you may not want to necessarily play b5. Someone played knight h5. I guess white could play g3 there and just chill. I'm not sure about knight h5 either. It's not easy to say what black should do, okay? Here, I played queen c7, waiting. He plays rook c1. I got off the file. I played passively. I have to confess though, like Ubatis in another game he showed me today, this wasn't just strictly passivity. I had an agenda. I'm going to turn off the engine here. I had an agenda in this game. I was like trying to actively use this idea of playing bishop d8 like a Najdorf. One of the beautiful things about the Philidor and the Old Indian is that you can get your bishop back in the game. In the King's Indian, it takes forever. I've had games where I had to like maneuver for 60 moves to get my like King's Indian bishop back in the game, from like f6 to d8 to b6. But I mean, here it's just boom, boom, and you're like back in the game trading off the good bishop at e3. So this was my main plan. Then after castles, maybe I should have stuck to my guns. But I think at this point, I was a little worried about maybe b4. I took. He took. And I don't, I know this is possible. It crossed my mind that he might try to do a trash compactor like this. It's interesting. The computer may like it. Yeah, it does. There's something that's like almost never really discussed in chess literature. When do you keep it symmetrical, and when do you go for a trash compactor with like b4, c5? I guess it's more dynamic, right? To play for the trash compactor. On the other hand, if I can hold it up with a blockade, I can stop it. I can blockade it with knight c5. It's not clear. This is like the normal move, though. I mean, he put a rook on the c file. And then I went bishop d8. So now it's pretty clear. I'm planning to trade off his best minor piece with bishop b6. Now white played knight to d2. And it's weird. I don't remember considering playing bishop b6 here. But it's definitely something you should think about. I didn't like the knight coming to c4, so I played b5. But as I said earlier, if this gets in here, here, and here, it's over. Tartakover said that like a knight outposted on the 6th rank is, strategically decisive. And I think that's normally the case. So that happens in the hedgehog sometimes too. If he manages to get that in, I'm a dead man. Knight b3 wasn't played. Knight b3, I'm holding the a5 square. So knight b3, bishop b6. It's not so easy for him to get in there. I think I'm okay here. So the engine's saying like a4 breaking up the pawn chain. Bishop b6. Bishop b6. Queen b6. And you don't want to be playing like Banus or Zoltan Ribley in this position probably. Remind me not... Yeah, I just lost the pawn. Wow, I just lost the pawn. That's good. Yeah, so he played really well. Knight d2, b5, and then this is too passive. a3, bishop b6, queen e2. And at this point, I was honestly like basing my play on knowing my opponent. So Schumacher has a tendency to break with f4 in these type of structures when it's really not good. So I decided to play rook e8, thinking that like I would inhibit him and have good control of e5 should he try to play like f4. Maybe rook e8 is not a great move objectively. So now I realized, holy shit, that's a nice plan. Do I have any sort of tactics on the pawn chain? He's got a beautiful idea of getting into c6. Bishop takes e3, queen e3. And this surprised me, I mean, I get it, like the pawn opens the rook and stuff, but this seems more natural. You've got a good diagonal here, a good diagonal here. you stay coordinated. I was surprised by pawn takes. Not completely surprised, okay. And now knight b4 is a massive threat. I would quantify that as a massive threat. And I was also afraid of the exchange sack that happened in the game, but I allowed it anyway. But I just blundered here. At this point, I just simply forgot that he, I was expecting him to play queen takes e3. And then I was going to play like a5. But I just honestly totally missed the fact that my b5 pawn was hanging. So I played a5, just dropping it. I have to play knight to c5. And now this looks really scary. But perhaps it's okay. Perhaps black is okay. I don't know. I don't really like this. But apparently I can live with him. He's like living inside my position. So this is where things fell apart. Bishop takes b5, just dropping a clear pawn. It's a total disaster because of this. I'm lost. I play rook e7. He plays a4. Not the most flexible move, but not bad. Here, and then he double sacks 2 exchanges. This, I would say, is like really, really fancy. Nevertheless, it was sound, apparently. Rook takes c5, and then rook takes f6. Double trouble. Double rook sacrifice. Double exchange sacrifice. I think that's pretty cool. And my opponent has 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Is that Tucker Carlson? You better not be putting any Tucker Carlson emotes on my stream, Mr. Coffee. Alright, g takes f. Man, and I'm just cemented after knight c4. I mean, I had no illusions about this. I knew that I'm in big trouble. I'm not a materialistic player. I realize that this is a very dangerous situation. I'm ready to give back the material. I really want to play f5. Another interesting idea, involving f5 might be to play like rook a6. I guess the question is like, how do you get your idiotic rooks, to be valuable here? So I could try to play f5. I was worried about this. And it's a legitimate problem. I guess I could play bishop a6. But I just didn't think it isn't really the piece I want to trade off. This bishop's actually doing something where my rooks are doing nothing. Move 11, thanks for subscribing. Hype train. We have a hype train in the house. Who's the hype train conductor? It's been a while. So I just did the beautiful rook b7. How can I give back the material? And he just secures. This is a perfect move. Secure against the possible sack here. I sack anyway. And then I don't know which way you should take. I'm still up 1 exchange. I've given 1 back. Okay, he has a pawn for it. So now he sacked 2 exchanges and a pawn. Sorry, he sacked 2 exchanges for a pawn. Now I give 1 back. So I don't know which way he should take. Maybe with the pawn. If he takes with the pawn, I can push to a4. I don't know if that does anything. He takes with the knight. And now bishop d7. And I'm threatening to take this out. So this is weird. You're a retired train conductor. Your new job is freelance laminator. Knight a3. This doesn't look right. You sack 2 exchanges and then you're putting your knight on a3. I was kind of relieved to see that. But I guess if he goes here, I could play rook a6. It's not so easy to see how white like wins this position. So he goes here. And now I don't know about this. I did this anyway, with the idea of going here. Also, it protects f6. And my king can maybe run away. And he didn't seem to have a plan. So I took, and then, I don't know. I'm going to assume there were better ways to defend this than what I did. Another thing I'm going to assume is that I should have gotten this break in at some point before it's too late. So this position is really rough. Wow, I had c4. I did not see that. Yeah, this is not easy to defend here. And I just took in time pressure. And so apparently the queen ending is totally lost. By the way, if I would wait a move and play like king f8, I drop a5. There was no time to wait. I thought, okay, I'll find a way to blockade or whatever. So I blockade with queen d7, and I need my king here, but it's not getting there fast enough. He just played this perfectly, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's equal material, queen ending. And we both have 2 pawns on the queen side. But I was in really bad time pressure. I played c4, king f2. That's apparently a huge mistake. He lets me play king f8. I didn't think it did anything. And then I played this blunder with f5. Yeah, I didn't realize this holds. I mean, I don't know if it does, but I was terrified of check here for some reason. I thought, okay, he'll check me, then he'll just go here, and he'll creep up here with queen c7. The computer's no, it's just a draw. I don't know, man. His pawn is on the freaking 6th rank. I mean, his king has places to hide. How would I know this is a draw? Check. King here. This is a freaking miracle that this is a draw. There's no way I could have calculated that. His king doesn't have place to hide. It's unbelievable. But I played f5, and it's just a disaster. And then a funny thing happened on the way to the Orpheum or whatever. He plays king f4, f6, d7, double question mark, and then queen g5 check. And after this, I missed f5 check. Little did I know that was my whole point, to win his queen on e7. So it's a silly result. I mean, he should have won. I miss it, though. He plays king takes. I play check. I let him out. He's winning again. And then it's queen d2 check. And then queen b4 check. He drops the queen on the other diagonal. Needless to say, he wasn't so happy not winning this. And if king c7, I can check him and then force him back with the standard sort of motif, here. And then shut him out. Anyway, ugly win. Kaleidoscope Guy, welcome. Greetings, and congratulations. Was this a bullet game? Well, when you play Schumacher, it's mostly bullet. It was rapid. But all the rapid games just boil down to basically bullet. Yeah, that's the problem. All the games just eventually... I was thinking, seriously, guys, there's a 45-45 league on lichess. I mean, Mr. Coffee, are you here? Did you ever play in the 45-45 league? Move 11, did you ever do that? I remember 20 years ago, I played on one on FICS or something. My question was going to be, do they let people, play in those while they're streaming? Is that, against the rules, or... I was wondering if if they let you stream while you play in those. I thought they might not like it. It would promote like people making suggestions and stuff. Okay, the Lone Wolf 3030, same thing. Right. My question is it permitted to like stream those? Because I don't know. Mirales. Guys, who's going to be the next one to donate to the World Senior? Make me a Grandmaster. Yeah, check and see. They're rated games. Well, that's fine. But check and see if streaming is permitted, would you? Peruse the rules if you have access. Because I was thinking I should really like, would it be boring? Would it be too boring for people if I streamed 30 plus 30 or 45 plus 45? I think it would be awesome, you know? I could really like deeply talk about a game like it was almost like a tournament game. And it doesn't have to be this like garbage, like Schumacher has 30 seconds and I have 15 seconds. And I mean, I said I'm not going to play Blitz, and I'm basically playing Blitz anyway. All the games end up the same place. Maybe in 30 plus 30, 45 plus 45, there would be some kind of semblance of chess involved. Donate, support the stream. Streamlabs. Send me to the World Senior. Guys, I apologize. Yesterday and I'm still sick, but yesterday I really felt tired and the cold had gotten the best of me, so I just took the day off to rest. Now we're back. All right, Morales is white. This is our third game of the day. Yeah. E4, C5, knight C3. The Morales attack. Can you imagine Acerbate playing the 45-45 league? Uh-oh. Don't give him any ideas. Yeah. Now I'm really confused. Because Morales' whole thing is like bishop e5. What is he doing here? Morales, if you promised to play knight f3, you know. Oh, maybe he did start doing this against me. He would do weird shit like d6, bishop b5. What is that? What is this crap, you know? Or g6, bishop b5? Morales is like, yeah, he's changing up his systems. I'm going e6 like all day long against Morales from now on. What? Anyone who wants to stream their league games on Twitch or YouTube is welcome to do so. However, streamers must ensure that they do not receive outside assistance from the viewers during a game. Yeah. That's not so easy though. You could do it by enacting like a big delay, right? What do you think? What do you think, just a solid delay? Delay or emote only chat. Okay, so there's ways to do it. Does Twitch have emote only chat? Alright, anyways. Morales is white. Yeah, this is annoying. What if aliens saw the shit? Oh no. Alright, are you guys ready for this? Now, Queen C7 is the main move here. I think Anand and some strong players have played this. This is like a legit variation for black. Queen C7 is the only good move for black. It's possible there's some weird freaky E5. Kramnik actually did play that. I have vague recollection of that. Queen c7, knight d5. Knight d5. e5. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, move on. This is a bridge burner, man. The fire on board. Very exciting variation. Alright, so that's like a mainline Roslimo. But his opponent played the dun dun dun. Wow. So you look at the opening explorer and you're like, what? Kojal played it against his own student in 2019? And Catronius played it in 2013. The move, it feels completely wrong. But you gotta ask yourself, if Kojal and Catronius would play it, how bad can it be? Alright, so takes. What are you doing? What is that? Get that out of here. So, I mean, I would want to take toward the center. In fact, there's only one game where that happened. I guess the problem is if you take toward the center, you get e5, no? e5, knight d5, knight d4 or something. But I don't really like this for black. I don't see how this is a good line. This looks like a great line for white. h3, preventing bishop g4. It's not necessary, though. Like, you don't have to play h3. If you let him play bishop g4, that's fine as well. Black's still worse. It looks like a weird exchange where Lopez. But Morales with the e5. So the problem with e5 is that I know Morales likes the e5 square, but well, we're certainly not going to be able to contain that bishop from getting out. What is the idea? You play like h3, bishop h5, e6 or something? If bishop g4, ironically, black won one game. I'm just curious what happens here. Damn, dude. This is clear advantage. But check this out. Spassky. I wonder about... Yeah, there it is. e6. You gotta like e6. This is a disaster. This is a terrible line for black. It's a terrible line. e5, knight d5. So h3 is also good. Daniel Dubov against Kovalev from 2022. CheeseCom. Bishop f5. That's surprisingly okay. So h3 is too slow here. But I think you should just play h3 like directly. That's good. Morales has a fetish for e5. It's not clear that black can equalize here. Yeah, this is like the time I lost to Tony Miles in a banter game. That's like, then you can resign. Now you can just resign, bro. I had this happen to me once. It was probably something very similar, in fact. It might have even happened by the same order of moves. Once I got to this position, I knew I was lost. I was like, what am I doing? You know, I have no bishop. I always wondered how I got that game and how I got that position. It would make sense if it was some kind of weird, like, delayed delayed line. I didn't know what I was doing, and I did something stupid like that. This is exactly what could have happened. Black is strategically lost here because it doesn't have a bishop. Good luck, like, getting your bishop out on that diagonal. The question is, how does black get the bishop out, a la Steinitz, on this diagonal? You show me how that's going to happen. Any suggestions? Guys, please donate. Support the stream. The stream survives based on your support. So Morales plays b3. He's like focusing on e5. Maybe reinforce it with bishop b2. But it's not, the most romantic move. I mean, this bishop is pretty, like, restricted. I think d3 is good. Oftentimes you're going to play c4 later on. But I guess you got to watch the g5 type of thing too. Surprisingly, the best move is c4. That's a surprising move. So this position has never happened? No one has ever played e6 there. b3, bishop e7, and then bishop d7. Good luck with that. Here, queen c7. This has a lot of effect. Now he plays c4. And now Morales, like, opens the position. Is he going to play c5? Honestly, I thought his plan was to play this. To create, like, the super nuclear molecule on d6. How's the evaluation here? Pretty good. Not bad. But he has g3 first. But I mean, I think it's counterintuitive to play d4. No, you're, like, opening the position. There's a chance he could play c5 and get his bishop in the game. Watch what happens here. Takes, bishop takes d4. The guy's got c5. He doesn't play c5. My God. Dude, you let his bishop get in the game. You committed the most mortal sin of the Rossalimo. Morales, hang your head in shame. This guy is back in the game now. It's unbelievable. You can't let his bishop out. He also had a tactic with knight d6, apparently. Nope. Nope. Yeah, I would have just played c5. And my only concern was, like, b6. But it's just too slow. Black's lost here, man. He's totally smashed. Man, alright. d4 takes, bishop takes, c5 saves black. Here. And now queen e3. And I think that black should still play c5. Morales still, even like he's a pawn down, he can still get his bishop in the game. You gotta play c5. Then it's forever dead. Yeah, this is really ugly. Still c5 is black's best move. It's like you're trying to breathe and you're gasping for air. f5. Yeah, this is like Nimzovich, man. Nimzovich versus some random guy, Hermanson. Nimzovich Hermanson, 1898. Where the queen ends up on, like, a8 or something. Ugh. Yeah, this is ugly. You have knight takes e6 now, don't you? That would be ironic, considering it's defended by, like, 3 different pieces. It's always fun to take something that's defended by 3 different pieces. But he just plays this. His opponent just, like, gave up. Impressive. Very bad play by black. Okay, Shockey's white in the next game. Let's get the hype train started. No hype train, no donations. Under any circumstances. Learn. We're here to learn. Don't you guys donate or support the stream in any way. Kaleidoscope guy, welcome. All right, Shaki Aldisto. This is from our tournament on Tuesday. I'm gonna keep trying to mix in the kick streams. We're not gonna give up on Twitch. E4, E5, knight f3, and I wondered how this happened. Aldisto played the Elephant Gambit. So Shaki plays the Petrov with black, and I was playing for a long time this Jabava Gambit with d5, which is actually unsound, of course, but most commonly reached by this Petrov move order. Normally, the Elephant Gambit is played differently. Black plays d5, and on knight takes e5, black usually plays bishop d6, or no, black usually plays bishop d6, right? I mean, this is playable, but it's not great. Or more commonly, like this line, when black has a choice between bishop d6 and e4. But this is funny that I saw. Oh, it was a different game. Oh, wow. So I saw a different game. Acerbate gifting 5 subs. It's the Kaleidoscope guy. Chess Zebra. Wow, Chess Zebra hasn't been here forever. Heisenberg. HTFP, who hasn't been here forever. Are those guys out there? Finvar. I was thinking of a different game, Shaki. I was thinking, did you have a game without a store, or is that with someone else? Somebody had a game without a store where it went into the gambit. After knight takes knight f6, someone had this. So was it you in a different game, or was it someone else? Chess Zebra's here. Nice. Chess Zebra. You're still alive. Awesome. Thanks for coming back. Anyways, Alistair played d3. Shaki played d3. You're like giving him a taste of his own medicine. Thanks, Acerbate, for the 5 gift subs. 6 gift subs, rather. He gifted another one to Kaleidoscope guy. So now black played pawn takes pawn. I gotta ask a question here. Is this a good idea? Probably not, It's not bad, but, well, first of all, there's like this weird gambit possibility. It's hard to believe that someone who's rated 2475 is playing this shit. Knight f6, knight c3, bishop b4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, d takes e4, queen d1 check, king takes d1. And the guy who's rated 2475 lost with white. That's freaking unbelievable. I mean, are these guys like playing real games, or are these like composed games or something? I don't know, man. That's a pretty weird game, honestly. 2475 is extremely strong. You're gonna spin a game or a checkmate in FM in 15 moves. But I've only seen boring games here. We try to specialize in boring games. Bob agrees. Bob's an expert on chess. He says I have a boring style. Yeah, okay. So I'm surprised he took here. Black should play knight to c6, of course. Taking is weak. And this endgame is draw city, man. But if you want to be aggressive, I mean, I'm guessing knight takes c5 is not great. If you want to be aggressive, you play this great crazy gambit. I don't know about it, but all right. So takes, king takes. I mean, white forfeits the right to castle. You guys know, I have the book here. I think I have it here. Edmar Bednes, From the Opening into the Endgame. He has from the middle game to the end game and opening into the end game. So I have the one from the opening to the end game, where there was a lot of examples of quick, going into the end game. A set of minor pieces traded and a queen's. This is technically not an end game. This is a queenless middle game. I think to reach an end game by definition, yes, you can submit a game. Kaleidoscope guy, absolutely. For it to be an end game, we need another trade of pieces. The king is normally going to c2 in this type of position. So knight f6, and now this is an interesting position. Can you play knight fd2? I know that move 11. I went crazy and I played like this hyper dynamic move. Yeah, if you want to be aggressive, I mean, f5, it's a hyper dynamic move. That's interesting, but also risky. But I have a question. After this, are we better off playing like knight fd2, so we can like secure our punching with f3? The problem is our bishop is buried here and it can't get out. We really want to have this bishop on like e3. Before black has time to play like bishop c5. So this is kind of like a concession, but it's probably the best move. Black now has to do something about their pawn hanging, and he plays bishop g4. Okay. c3. I'm not really that concerned about this, Shaki. It's his good bishop. So if you play like c3 and he decides to take it, I'm not so sure that this is terrible for you. f4 square, but I think that white is fine. So you might consider playing c3 right away. You played knight d2. Might be a good move. You're a little bottled up with a bishop. Now definitely c3. Oh, we got Emery Tate versus Josh Sharam. 2007. Wow, where was that played? Reykjavik Open. All right, the late Tate. Late Tate. Can you guys imagine Emery Tate playing this shit with white? This is like the most ridiculous shit I ever heard of. The pyramid scam guy? You don't know who Emery Tate is, Kaleidoscope guy? Emery Tate was the most brilliant tactician ever. At least according to him. But he would do weird stuff sometimes, like play positions that didn't suit his style like this. Tate has really no business playing this. He probably got bored and lost. I'm surprised his rating was 2406 in 2007. It's surprising his FIDE rating was 2406 in 2007. That's a little hard to believe. All right. Castle's Queen said, I don't think his FIDE rating, peaked at more than like low to mid 2400s. Definitely didn't go over 2450. He was way too inconsistent, like getting drunk and blowing games against 1800s, and it's hard to believe he was 2406 given his inconsistency. 333 from ABC. Thank you. Um, yeah, but I mean, it's weird, man. I like Tate's move. You should be aiming to put your king on c2. The problem was the f2, I see. So he had to defend after this with rook f1, and he didn't like defending. Yeah, God forbid you have to defend for a move. But Tate, like, he didn't know how to draw. He would just go crazy, instead of, like, drawing or something. That's why this is a particularly bad position for him. It's really drawish, and the chances are Tate will just go ballistic and lose rather than because he just doesn't want to draw. Other people do that, like Shirazi used to do that. My friend Emo Slancy does that all the time. Yeah, he had moments of brilliance. But this is kind of passive, and you hung a pawn on e4. Whoops. That's not good. You just straight up hung your central pawn. This game was not submitted by Aldista. Wow. Bishop c5, and now king c2. I'm beginning to think like it might be better to go to e1 so as to protect the f2 square. But Chucky just like doubles down. He doubles down. I mean, bishop f5 looks scary, man. What are you going to do on bishop f5? Walk out to b3? We're going to get like one of these things. I'm sure Emery would have enjoyed that. I mean, it's crazy, dude. This is crazy. Alright. King c2, and then he just trades on d2. So f2's hanging, and there's crazy shit with bishop f5, and Aldisto just simply like trades his knight on d2. That seems pretty weird. I guess he's just satisfied with being up a pawn. Bishop takes d2. I thought this is probably best, actually. Bishop f5 check. Maybe he underestimated your defensive possibilities here after e4. The problem with e4 is like white kind of hunkers down with knight g1. I can see white surviving this game, though he really shouldn't. Bishop takes e2, knight takes e2. I mean, you're only one pawn down. It should be lost, but it's not supposed to be like easily lost. I don't know about knight f4. You've got a fork. Yeah, okay. That's fine. That's fine. I guess this was the last round. You decided to play bishop e3. But I think you're suffering from a lot of chess laziness. Maybe we can play this better. Can you play like rook e1 and maybe like then play bishop e3? It does look slow. So in other words, there's stuff coming in here. For example, bishop e3, rook e3, knight here, but maybe not so bad, I mean, there's also this. This looks really disturbing. But again, not game over. I don't know if you should let him jeopardize your pawn structure as an expert defender. Wait until you see the brilliancy that won him the game. As an expert defender, I think you're down a pawn, and this move jeopardizes your structure. So I think like on the spectrum of like how bad your position is, you're going further down the spectrum of badness. You can't afford to like make further concessions when you're down material. You should bear down, play rook a1 and try to hang in. Another possibility is, what are you afraid of anyway? What's he going to do? e3? Like trade off his strong pawn? Why don't you play maybe h4? Just blockade. Yeah, I mean, I see this. This is going to be a problem. This is the number one problem probably there. But I still don't like jeopardizing your pawn structure. Yeah, I saw this toward the end. G6, very safe move. And now you blockaded. And so, okay, you've got a practical position where black should be winning, but it's not that easy. You might be able to play h5. I think h5 would be good, you know, in that it would trade pawns. If you get h5, g5, knight here, double attack, you know, you've got problems with this though. So again, you really need to get in rook e1. There it is. And then this move, very surface. Okay, rook e2, and then rook d6. And now do you have a break? You just kicked him back here. And so I was thinking like h5. Maybe you can trade pawns. You know, the first idea is this. Okay, he has 2 pawns hanging. What's he going to do about it, right? That's a problem. I think that's a fairly serious problem. He might lose his extra pawn back and then not be winning at all. And the idea would be, you know, if he just makes like a routine move, you're taking, and then you're stealing the H file. And objectively, you know, probably you're not hanging on anyway. But I think every pawn you exchange, you get a little bit closer to a chance to hold a draw. Okay, so h5 is an idea. Trading rooks is not a great idea when you're down material. Uber with some bits. 500 bits. Audisto is a bad man. Audisto is a strong player. Strong blitz player. I don't know how strong he is like over the board. We don't know anything about Audisto OTB, but yeah, I agree. He was impressive. Uber driver, welcome. Twitch troll. Is that you, Kaleidoscope? Your new account? Oh, a 3-0 game. He's playing himself. Twitch troll versus Blowfish Master. Oh, he is Blowfish Master. Okay. Oh man, what did I do? I went to the wrong window. All right. Hootie and the Blowfish. So Shaki, a painful game here. Let's finish it up. We want to see the end. So you traded rooks. All right, I can tolerate like one trade of rooks to limit his attacking chances. But please promise me you don't trade both sets of rooks. Now you played c4, but why? I don't understand c4. It seems like you weaken your position with that move. Man, you're really tied down to this pawn, man. I think you almost have to play like g3. Yeah, it's a disaster. Yeah, I'm playing h5. Maybe your knight on f2. I'm curious what the best move is. Wow, your move is best. c4. It's really, really lost, though. You're super lost here. I guess he figures you're just paralyzed after this. But obviously h5 is a chance. And active defense. Take. And now, check. I'm not sure that does anything. I think after rook f3, you're pretty much done for. Rook e2 check, let your king up. Now he goes here. So he improved your king for you. That was nice of him. Check. 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 And I mean, he could probably let his queenside pawns drop. But his first mistake was improving your king. This is really significant. You know, I think if he goes here and we start this check shit, like check, whatever, you can go here, and then just like take the pawn, and then check, and even this is probably like totally winning with two connected passers. But letting your king up to c3 is a slight mistake. He can probably jettison all the queenside pawns and still be winning. But I don't know. See, these guys are faster. They should be faster. And then this is okay, I think. Because he's got check and you're out of any chance of blockading. Oh, he grabbed the pawn. I see. I didn't see this as possible. He has a way to get that pawn. And now there's like no way to win. I guess it's a draw now. Ironically, like he should probably just forget about the queenside pawns. And like just play for a win here. You know, he needs to get his king to f4, rook over, check you, and then try to checkmate you with the two pawns and the rook and the king. This is like he just kind of like did the safe thing at the last minute. Another bad rook check though. King up. You know, I guess this pawn is pretty fast though. Maybe you start pushing just for the distractionary effect. King f4, c6, check. Like, you know, whatever. This isn't so clear with that c pawn going. Yeah, I guess it's not that clear. Interesting. Check, king d2, here. But after this, it's apparent to me that I think it's a draw. I don't see how he could avoid the checks and like losing his f5 pawn. Yeah, b4. Do you have better? Do you have b4? No. So here, it doesn't matter. Like these pawns, yeah, these pawns aren't going anywhere. I think I would prefer rook h8. But maybe you're right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of aggressive. I think at this point I would be focused on just holding the draw. You know, like rook b5. He has king up. That sucks. So you had to go c5. Yeah, pretty well played. This is risky, dude. I mean, rook here. This has to be a draw. No? He takes. You take. It's a draw. There may be some confusion about like who's playing for a win and when. Is White like trying to win now? So what about like f4? f4, rook f7, king d8, rook takes f4. It's a draw. And so how did you lose? Time? 3 seconds? You lost on time. Now you're lost, actually. No? King d8. You're not lost? Oh, wow. You're winning. Rook a1 is winning. f3 and c6. That's amazing. So you're actually winning at the end. Thanks, Super, for the root god mode. Rated 3-0, no. Alright, next game. Yeah, but that wasn't a great game, Shaki. That was... Okay, what do we expect from that time control? But the opening was really bad. You should have been lost. You were lucky to have a chance there. Why'd you play such a lame opening against him? I guess you didn't expect him to take on e4. Alright, so this is Acerbate playing b3. b3, e5. Thanks, guys, for supporting the stream. We're up to 401 in World Senior. 18% of the way there. Do I hear 20? Do I hear 20? 11 viewers, guys. Come on. I can't believe it. Root God mode. Root God mode. Not going to ban him. Next step is timeout. Kaleidoscope guy, did you follow my stream on Kick? Everybody who hasn't already, like, please follow my stream on Kick. Alright. Serious analysis here, no garbage. You look 40, World Senior. Thanks. Well, I haven't had any alcohol for 2 days, and I slept all day yesterday, so... I am sick, though. So I'll take that as a compliment. I feel like I look like 51 today. I had a really bad cold since Monday. 40 is too old, but 50 is really too old. Alright, Acerbate's playing white. b3. e5, bishop e2, knight c6, e3. We've got d5, and then bishop e5. Acerbate's first submitted game where he's actually like reached like the main line, what I would call the main line. And what does his opponent do? Main line, Nimzovich opening. The opponent plays the rare e4. Yeah, I had a friend who did that in similar position. Something about this move, you know, it doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. You're not developing any pieces. You're clearing this diagonal for white. The one thing... I mean, to be frank, like... How about queen g5? No one ever plays that? I think even queen g5 might be better. Let's see. Knight f3, queen takes g2. Here. Queen h3. No, maybe not. Probably not good either. Yeah, Aspey went off with queen h5. What's up? What's up with queen g5? Theoretical novelty. Yeah, knight f3. Yeah, this is interesting. Knight f3, queen takes g2, rook g1, queen h3, and then it's not clear what white should do. Bishop takes e5. This is what I was afraid of, though. Bishop g4. Wow, and now you only have one move. Knight g5. This is a cool variation. Trading queens and bishop takes c2. Like, damn, dude. Rook takes g7. That is a neat variation. Look how active white's pieces are. You gotta like that, man. King f1 is passive, Repunj, but it's a move. There's some cases where that's better. But it is passive. This is just a passive move. Passive is last resort. Okay. But it's better than g3. I'll give you credit for that. Alright, e4. Well, your knight won't be going to f3. So, Astrobate goes berserk. It doesn't take much to set him off. Boom. Have you thought about just playing? Why does lichess only support Twitch? Because they're using like outdated browsers, man. Yeah, I love how lichess like criticized me for using Mozilla, and they said Thibault sent me a smart ass remark like, why don't I use a modern browser? Yeah, and they still only support. No, you don't remember. Like Thibault was all rude to me when I told him like, why is Firefox not working right and stuff, and he was like, well, why didn't you use like a modern browser? Or whoever. Maybe it wasn't Thibault, but it was one of those guys. And yeah, and now they're like, there are like 5 or 6 primary like streaming sites, and Twitch still just supports like 2 of them. No, they're just lazy, man, and they're lazy and they don't want to have to have to do the work. That's all. But what can you ask for? I mean, it's a free chess site. Um, all right, we can't ask too much, you know. We can ask, but we won't receive. We're too greedy. Queen h5, interesting move. The problem with Queen h5 is that you're not threatening anything. You're not threatening anything. It's a neat move, though. I'll give you credit. So, my first reaction would be like knight f6. And then do you go here with a fancy check? h4, g5. You're not going to take that. You're going to take that? Is that the plan? Here's a cool variation. Bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, queen takes d5, queen takes a1, bishop takes c6 check, pawn takes, queen takes c6 check, king e7, queen takes a8, queen takes check, king here, bishop a6 check. Don't worry, everything's okay. d3. What could possibly go wrong here? Queen takes check, king here, and then bishop takes d3. When we could have a problem. So that's what could go wrong for Astrabate's position. It's not a one-way street. Black needs to develop. This is not a good idea. It is not a good idea to like weaken fatally your own long diagonal where the guy has a bishop on b2. Needless to say, that's not a great idea. But Astrabate does check. It's too funny. Oops. Nice, nice. Well, this gets the cuteness award. At least he protected his knight with his bishop on e6. He only lost a rook and a pawn. That's not bad. He's clinging to the g6 pawn as well. He's only down 6 points of material. Now Astrabate reassembling. Queen g3. I like queen g3. But you figure you're preventing him from castling queenside. And now, screw it, man. Just take, you know. You're up a whole rook. Trade pieces, dude, even if it's a slight concession. You're congested here. Where the heck is your knight going to go? I think if you have to move your knight, you probably should put it on f1 so you can play knight e2. But dude, you have to take here. Come on. You don't have enough room for your pieces to move around. Yeah. This is a very bad decision. You're up a rook, man. It's okay to trade even a bishop for knight. Don't take the not trading bishops for knight too literally when you're up a rook and a pawn. So this leaves you congested. I mean, rook c1 should be considered, and this is gonna like sound stupid, but maybe even bishop d1, so you could get your knight into the game. I could see how this could go south. But anyway, castle queenside should be okay. Just be careful because he can throw. He's gonna throw the kitchen sink at you over there. Here it comes. What's left of the kitchen? He retreats his knight, and then f3. Yeah, it's too little, too late for black. f5 is his best shot. He just doesn't have enough. His best shot. You should offer to trade queens, man, at some point. Drive him crazy. This would free up the knight. Here comes the kitchen sink. And then that just blocks any ability of that pawn to come forward. You're totally winning. You see when Astrobate starts to get coordinated? Like how... Let me just point this out to you. How well coordinated his pieces really are. He understands a little something about coordination. It's just a matter of getting there. He's a misunderstood genius. I still take Aspirate in a Bob match, depending on the time control. This has to be lichess game of the month. This? You need to submit. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's lichess game of the month now. Astrobate, you can commit. You can submit commit. You can submit it. You can submit it for a game of the month, man. Look at the white pieces. I thought you were gonna activate this though. First. It looks like you kind of jumped the gun with knight d4 a little bit. Bofanik is not happy. Now black has no moves. It's sad, like there's no job for a rook here. And the guy can't even like threaten mate in one because he'll get his rook grabbed. This is sick. And now Astrobate sacks in exchange. Because his redundant rook wasn't playing anyway. It's all over. That's a really clean game, man. And he only used 2 minutes for the whole game. Oof. I smell a checkmate. Nice. Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know about the opening. It was a little shaky. Queen h5 is dubious, man. It is interesting to wonder, though, what the best move is. It seems to be d3, according to the engine. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Blatney played it twice. The man who quit real openings. I mean, black pushes the pawn to e4, and you're like attacking his overextended pawn. d3 totally makes sense. c4 makes some sense, undermining the center. And then there's just like routine development with 92. That's kind of the least, satisfying, I guess. But Astrobate's move is creative. All right, novelty. This is ABC FIGM with white in a C3 Sicilian or French. No, it's C3 Sicilian move order. It's Hector variation of the gambit, the Milner-Barry gambit Hector variation. I'm gonna come on record as saying, like, number one, after d5, if pawn takes pawn, I support pawn takes pawn. I think like this is like very solid for black. Second thing I'm gonna say is that black also needs to seriously consider playing knight f6. I guess, if you're black and your opponent wants to play the French, they can play this, right? What is this? I had this position yesterday, and I was seriously considering playing knight f6. And actually, it never occurred to me that white could play bishop d3. What'd you find, Bob? You're 1-1 with Asterbate? What's up with bishop d3? Well, what kind of French is this? The best move for black is queen a5? Okay, that's insane. Are you serious? I doubt it. Queen a5. Yeah, I don't think so. Get me some real moves, please. So this is actually nothing. Wow. Wow, I thought like this delayed knight f6 was okay. That's funny. Look at the score. Look at the score, guys. I'm highlighting it here. Knight f6, 2%, 65 games, and black is like winning 43-29. Because everybody like thinks you have to play e5 now and transpose the c3 Sicilian, which was what I was hoping. Yeah, I have a cold. It's a common cold. Something like that. Yeah, since Monday. I had to take yesterday off. I slept under the air conditioner. Common coronavirus 19. But dudes, this is a problem. This is a problem. So that's... Wow. How does black have a plus score here after knight to c6? What is this? I see. Someone will explain this to me. If e5, 3 games. Okay, that will transpose. If knight f3, can we get a transposition? So the question is this. Look how few games there are. Vakidov, 1993. Grachev. So it all hinges on this. This is interesting. Wow. No, this is actually legit interesting. Wow. This is playable. Huh. That's very important. This is not a thing? No. Alright, interesting. So black has to know this. Knight c6. Now knight e2 is the move. Yep. Gary's buddy. Now what do we do? Why doesn't it work now? I don't understand. Well, it's still basically the same thing. Here, d5, e5, knight d3 check. Okay, it's a position. Anyway, alright. It's interesting. So, e5, back to the game. Black played queen b6. Black played queen b6. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting move. The other day I had a game. What do you guys think about this? I don't play the French much, but I decided to try this the other day. I know Mr. Coffee likes the French, although he's been playing the Sicilian lately. I was thinking about this move order with knight e7. Zvygintsev, Kovalenko, George Meyer, Zvygintsev, Demidog, Ivanisevic, Kovacevic, Laputian, Klaus Bischoff. I was thinking, does knight e7 mess with white at all? Knight f3. Oh, they can do this. Oh, that's funky. That wasn't my idea, though. Is that a thing? That's good. It's interesting. What's the point of that? I don't know. I'll have to investigate later. But alright, our game is queen b6, knight f3. Against Hikaru, I played this and lost. Though I shouldn't have lost. In 2003. Black plays knight c6. I guess my only question is, like, why play queen b6 first if you're going to play knight c6 anyway? Does it avoid something? So now a3 is a major variation as well. Okay, but you played the gambit. This is very popular now. And then bishop d7, now black's trying to take the pawn. Castles. And this is where it's, this is where we're varying. Normally, in the old days, everybody played the normal Milner-Barry. So takes. Knight c3, queen takes c5, rook e1, queen b8. Even I studied this. Knight takes d5, bishop d6, queen g4, king f8, blah, blah, blah. And white has compensation, probably. I think it's still a good line, but it's kind of analyzed to death. So someone along the line discovered that Johnny Hector had been playing this long ago. Rook e1. Yeah, b4 is something else, but this rook e1 kind of changes the equation. It might be a better way to play the... It's basically like a better way to play the Milner-Barry gambit. Statistics overall look very good. 126 games. 52% wins. The main problem, I think, even though white's like down a pawn, is that it's very hard for black to get his king to a safe position. It's very hard for black to castle kingside or castle queenside, or to have a safe position in the center. Like, no matter what he does, he's almost never completely safe. And that seems to be the problem. So playing black is actually quite difficult. Now interestingly, ABC's game, black did something that almost no one does, and this is surprising. D takes C. There's a Delchev game. He was winning this game. I've gone over this with a couple of people already. So Delchev drew. He's a strong Bulgarian grandmaster who used to be 2600 for deflation. But don't take that game's result literally, because I've seen the game a couple times and Delchev was just completely winning. He threw away a winning position or messed it up. He was killing this guy. But anyways, question is, D takes C, is it good enough? Most people aren't playing that. It looks like, rook c8, for example, is being played by a bunch of strong players with pretty bad results. Loss. Although the black players aren't exactly Garry Kasparov here. The only really strong players, pretty strong players, are like Christiansen and Sabo Gergo. The rest of them are like mediocre strength. This is, if that's black's best move, dude, I think that black's in trouble, to be honest. If you're relying on h6 as your defense, I think you're in trouble. And other moves don't have really better score either. So I think this is a legitimate question, takes. Okay, now, do you take back with the pawn or the knight? Pawn takes is not, it's not as stupid as it looks. You get a kind of wing gambit. You could get a kind of wing gambit thing from it. Like, bishop c5 looks good. but I'm not sure how strong it is objectively. To be honest, like even bishop e3 would be still not that simple. Okay, but knight takes is better. And here, okay, Delcha's opponent and the other guy they both played bishop b4. A favorite of Arsenal fan. But essentially, this is essentially like a really artificial move. Like, what are you going to do? Trade off your good bishop? Put it on a5? I mean, it's like he's just like getting his bishop out of the way. I think you can't play bishop c5. You lose a piece, right? Bishop c5, knight a4, bishop takes f2 check, king f1, queen a5, and then like bishop d2. Rest in peace. Or do you have some kind of miraculous move there? Oh my god. Black saves himself. Wow, he has bishop takes e1. Check this out. Oh, that's the coolest variation ever. 3 pieces for the queen. Wait, what is this material? What is the material here? What's going on? No, it's a rook. It's a rook, 2 pawns, and a piece for the queen. That's crazy. Wow. Bishop takes f2 check. King f1. So I missed something. Oh, I could just take. Duh. Alright, whatever. Anyways, going back to the game, it's all very interesting, but knight e7 looks more sensible than bishop b4. You got to admit. This feels too slow. I mean, my assumption here is that you can sacrifice this pawn. On the other hand, like, you don't have to rush. Maybe a3 is not so bad. But my first thought is bishop e3. It should work, right? Like, this doesn't work. We have like a million ways that this tactic should fail for black. You can take once, knight takes, and just like pin it. Bishop f1, or not that way, a different way. Here. For example, I mean, I don't know. There's probably better ways to do it. Knight a4 is possible. I'm not sure that's good, actually. Let's see. Just take. Oh. What? Hold on. What am I missing? Oh my god. Wow, white's down a piece. Oh my god. Holy crap, dude. What's up, Tezik? I don't know, Bob. I think you might be able to submit a game. You are a subscriber. Wow, that's unbelievable. So knight b5 just wins. Yeah. I like bishop e3. If you there's no way I take this pawn. It's game over. Yeah. Okay. So he has to go here. And now the engine says bishop g5 or h4. So the point is, like, there's no need for h3. The computer says the position is equal, like 0.0, but it's obviously easier for white to play because black's king is like jammed in the middle of the board with all his pieces in a little box, and it's like not fun and hard to coordinate. He can't castle or coordinate his pieces. Tizake subscribed, 24 months. Thank you. Uh-oh. But, don't forget World Senior donations, guys. Get us up to 500. Prime cheat. Today's Prime Day. I was thinking of buying an air fryer, but it just costs too much to have stuff shipped over here. Anything I would save from Prime Day, which is basically a big scam, I would have to pay in, like, shipping and duties and stuff. I only order stuff from Amazon from the States if it's like I can't get it any other way. But if you live in the States, you might want to check out air fryers on Prime. Astrobate. You missed the Astromate. Yeah, nice game though here. So A3 is too slow. A6, useful. B4, knight A4, and then you're just like strategically, squeezing him. So this cannot be dropped. But I will say, like, I'm not a huge fan of this square because that bishop tends to be kind of a dead piece on G3. So I'd really rather it didn't get like sidelined there. Maybe there's another option for black here or for white. This is the same thing. Like it's securing E5, but it's not very active itself, This bishop feels like it's most active on this diagonal. So I wish there was another way we could play this. Maybe we can protect E5 with the queen and just keep the bishop like chilling in the middle or something. Here, here, here. Something like that. Our A4 knight will hang. Probably. That's why the early H4 is important, by the way. You want to like possibly even like circumvent their ability to play knight to G6. Okay, so here, here, here. This is not ideal. And then black played B5. Wow. You might have sacrifices now. Bam, bam, and E6. That's one way your bishop could come back to life. That happens in the King's Indian attack. So it's an interesting idea. But knight C3 looks like knight takes B4. So you sort of, have a choice between a passive square, which may not be bad, by the way, and knight C5. He doesn't have to take, but his A6 pawn is hanging. There goes the good bishop. Castles. And now, white just launches like a devastating kingside attack. Boom. And obviously there's no F6 because of the queen. And his counterplay on the queen side is too slow. H5. And then now the big choice between H8 and E7. Your preferences? E7. H8, if you have F6 available. Yeah, this is like... This looks like, Alpha Zero. Black's usually in trouble if they can't get H6 in time. So there now, this like deathly weakness. The deathly hollows. Now your bishop is a totally different piece. Exactly. So much for the bad bishop concept. White is winning. He grabs a pawn, but all you need to do is like get in there somehow. We just need to get in here. Boom, boom, boom. And then this is game over. So black literally has to play F6. And he literally has to play knight F5. And now, do we have a way to break through? I feel like we missed something. You're going to sack on G6. But how are you going to do it? Oh, he took there. What if he takes with the queen? G4 before knight F5? Well, You know, like, when do you want to do that, man? That's a long time ago. You'd have to play g4 here. I mean, he could still do crazy stuff like f6. But it might be good enough. Preventing knight f5. It does look pretty good. Maybe black can try something like d4, but he's gonna lose the knight now. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, that's interesting. Right? You didn't recapture. Wow. This is pretty impressive, man. Double sacrifice. It was like merciless. What's like the CPL in this game? That was pretty merciless, man. It seems like, man, ABC is playing some brutal games. He always submits like these brutal games. He did make 2 blunders. Wow. Toward the end. So maybe that was one of them. Bishop takes c4 was a blunder. What's the winning move here? Bishop f5 and then what? You're going to go on the 7th? Oh, he has the 7th. So he has like here, here, and then rook on the 7th. It's a little slow. You know, you have to see all the way through to here. And it looks like, you know, you're not necessarily winning, right? This takes some pretty deep calculation. You know, that's not easy. That's your blunder, not seeing that. And then the other blunder was 95. Yeah, I mean, I expected you to take here. Because you're threatening knight takes g6. Your problem was this, I guess. But it looks like you have rook e5. And then if queen d4, you can probably just sack anyway. Drop this rook with check and go to h2. Oh man, is he like surviving with king there? Oh, that's brutal. Is he surviving here? No. But if you play knight h8, it's a draw. Oh my god. Knight f8, only move. Pretty crazy game, man. That was fun. Okay, so knight f5 here. And then you're just like winning easy. Up the exchange. Alright, good game. Yeah, that variation is very good. It's very dangerous for black. Blob. Oh no. Saeed. Saeed's is back. I don't want to open study, dude. I just want to like put it in a study. I don't want to open a study. I did it like 4 times. That's annoying. How do I... Board editor? No. Alright, I'll just have to do it separately. I don't know what to do with you. Alright. We got Hey It's Miro up next. Greetings, anonymous player. Feeling anonymous. Thanks, guys, for your support. We're up to 7 gift subs today. We got 500, 800 bits. $1 million donation from George Soros for chess charity. Who's going to send me to the World Senior? I'm too young? You guys aren't donating because I look too young? Alright, I get it. All right, we're white against aluminum. Aluminum is better than carbon fiber for submersibles. Metals are still where it's at in submersible materials. Saeeds, I'm going to try to do your game. So I've been playing A6 all the time. I love this. This is my new system, just to be weird. So F3. F3 is... Yeah, I mean, it's a very old move, very standard. Can I ask a stupid question? Can black play D5? Dirk. I like that name. That's a cool name. Dirk Paulson. Yeah, only Blatney would do this. No, even Blatney wouldn't do it, because like he does this, he needs to retreat his knight like that, and he doesn't even have F8 free. No, D5. Not yet, maybe later. So everybody knows that the best move for black is C6. Here. Grandmaster ID 413. Who the heck is that? Oh, what's Slaggy's Alo? Grandmaster LD 413. Bishop E3. Lower than it should be. I like to charitably give little kids like draws to keep my rating lower than it should be. Alright. Bishop E3, Queen A5. See, that move I'm not sure about. I don't think so. I don't think so. This is a dead solid point. You don't play Queen A5 when the other guys played F3. Ironically, like C6 is a good move. But now, after Bishop E3, this is not the idea. Maybe once black castles queenside. I used to play the Pirts, and I've seen some good people play the Pirts. But if Smirin or Feugl or some expert were playing the Pirts here, you're going to see something more fluid, like knight on BD7. It's always like B5. We're waiting to see if white's going to commit to castle queenside. No, not D5. It's like knight on BD7, B5. Maybe we'll do Queen A5 later. But it's like all wait and see kind of thing. And definitely you don't play Bishop G7 because it's just like a waste of tempo. Unless white doesn't intend to play like Bishop H6. So Queen A5 is totally weird. Definitely not a good move. I wonder what white's best move is, though. Is it right to face off against that queen? I wonder. Is it even necessary? But what other plan is there? Also makes me want. It almost makes me want to play Queen E2 just to be like a jerk, No, Queen D2 is natural, okay? And then B5. Alright, so it would normally be like B5 first, and then you play Queen A5, probably. White has a terrific score here. And now H4, rarely played. Most people play G4. I think that typically this knight goes back to like D7. In some cases, it can go out to H5 if it gets attacked. And now there's only one game where this has actually happened and black played H5. So the problem with playing h5 for black in this type of thing is that the knight usually gets like embedded on g5. Like once you get a knight on g5, like you can't get rid of it unless you do knight h7. b5 and never play bishop g7. Standard playing against the 150 attack. Yeah, but the 150 attack, of course, is like different because the e4 pawn isn't as secure. Here the e4 pawn is very secure. But apparently he's supposed to play g4. And I would think like black. Again, I'm not a fan of queen a5. I don't think that I know he's been like canceled by some female streamer, but Ilya Smirin wouldn't play queen a5. I think that's just, it's too early, you know? Not clear. This is good. And like b5 is flexible, okay. But we don't have to commit to putting the queen on a5 so early. That just seems a little bit weird to me. It's like you're playing, why not just play the check defense? You know, I had a game like this the other day. I did f3 and my opponent played queen a5. I'm like, dude, why are you playing the check defense when I played f3? It was actually a slightly different position. It was this. They played this. I played f3. They played c6. And then I think I did like knight c3 and they went here. But the check defense doesn't really make sense, I think, when the pawn is secured by the pawn. Yeah, you can still play e5, but I mean, I don't see the justification for having the queen on a5. All right. It might even get in the way in some cases when you want to have like a pawn storm and you're using all your pawns. Queen a5 is always bad. You heard it here first. That was Saji Chapter 1. Much more relevant than Feingold rules. See, this bishop d3 now, I've never been a fan of this. But I know that it's typical. So the problem is you can't castle queenside. Oh, never say never. So if you were to castle queenside b4, you have to drop back. What happens here? You got nothing special. I mean, this is unclear. But yeah, I don't know, man. This doesn't, like, e5 doesn't do anything. Doesn't look right. You can definitely, by the way, you can definitely play a3. Because if they ever try to b4 you, you just, like, pin them up or whatever, and they lose a pawn. That happens in the Sicilian, too. That's another problem with playing queen a5. You like, can't play b4. Because you just get, like, pinned. Yeah, so knight h3, that gets my approval. And there are some cases where like bishop takes h3 is played, but obviously black doesn't really want to do that because he'll have weaknesses on the white squares forever. But it's still maybe better than allowing the knight to entrench itself on g5. I guess, you know, could black maybe try something different here? I mean, does he have to play h5? Like, you're not really threatening h5 yet. You know, if you play h5, I'm just going to chop it off happily with my knight, you know. Black could play b4, actually. And then we drop back here. And then we got the a3 problem again. We get nibbled with a3. No, it's not easy to play black, but I'm not convinced about h5. The engine actually likes b4 best. But I want to criticize queen a5 again. All right. So h4 virtual novelty. This is probably not black's best move, and you should play knight h3. Yeah, this bishop has a tendency to get attacked, and I mean, you know, castling kingside isn't really ideal. So I would just leave that here. Weird move for the Pirates. I don't know if I've seen that too often. This is no prize either, the bishop on d3. I like your analysis streams on Twitch. It's easier for me to watch the VOD, Raisin Bran Crunch. Not today, tomorrow. Now a3. a reasonable enough move. But why not this? Are you like trying to trick him into moving his bishop so you can play knight h3 without him taking it or something? Or do you just not know about that? And now he went completely crazy with d5. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like the look of d5. I mean, obviously if he takes, he's in trouble. What about like bishop d7? Is he really in trouble? You don't have b4. Because the rook's not protected. Plus this diagonal is really scary. So like takes, what did we achieve here? Oh, you have knight takes. Okay, I get it. You have knight takes. So on d5 he has to find another defense. Aha. Well, maybe he has b4. Yeah. Yeah, it's unclear. I guess b4. He has to play b4. What else is he gonna do? But again, why do d5? I think you just do knight h3. If you get here, you're good. He's not threatening anything, really. He's probably gonna have to take this, you know. Oops. All right, what's our evaluation after that? Plus 0.7. Yeah, it's a game. All right. Yeah, that's the way I like it. Uh-huh. This is weird. Yeah, he messed up. Oh, but you did a funny thing. Take, and here. You serious? You like could have won a pawn with knight takes b5? This is just game over? It's just game over. I mean, takes. King takes. It doesn't look like black has enough compensation for this pawn. It doesn't look like black has any compensation for this pawn, to be honest. That looks pretty bad. Yeah. So you did knight d5. This is totally random. Just wrecked his whole position. So white like equalized. He equalized for black. Actually, black is better because this pawn on d5 looks weak, and the diagonal is really strong. It's not usual to play d5 in this type of line with white. So that was good. You fixed your pawn structure, so you now have this like 3 and 3. Maybe you can outplay your opponent now. Hey, Esmiro, always more comfortable in the ending. Yeah, those pawns are becoming a trash compactor. A delayed trash compactor. c4. Yeah, he was probably smart to play e6 before it's too late. Although, like I had this against Thomas Banus in our tournament game this spring. You can't take back with the pawn because you lose g6, so you have to accept an isolated pawn. And then Zoltan Varga will like lecture you about how you destroyed your own pawn structure. Alright, castles, rook e8, knight f4, a6, rook e1. This is a nice controlled endgame by Hey Esmiro. Black is very awkward, and the two bishops are just brutal here. Rather than f4 though, I mean, not maybe king f2. What? Oh shit. He has a tactic? That's nice. Wow. Bishop takes f4. That's a nice tactic you got there. But why didn't you take and go for this? You're going to lose the pawn at the end of the day. Oh, man. b5. Not sure what's going on here. Do I want to know? Damn, that's kind of an awkward position for black. What happened where the game just ended so quickly here? So after bishop f4, bishop f4, you should have just played bishop f4, but how do you follow up? Just back? Just take. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this passer is just winning, and bishop versus knight is good. So this isn't what happened. He played bishop e1, keeping the two b's. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to say. I would gravitate toward f1. I feel like this is on a light square. It's like closer to the center. I'm definitely gravitating toward that. It protects my bishop. Mr. Coffee might prefer king h2. I mean, beautiful position. Is it enough to win? Another weakness. So he can't play d5. I guess he has problems. Minor understatement. Wow. He got pinned with bishop e4 and then resigns, losing a piece. Yeah, not bad, but you obviously didn't have a lot of experience there in that. Hi, my dear. My dear Mr. Bill. All right. Oh, no, we did this again? Yeah, I got it. All right. Back to last game. Last two games. All right, last two games. What's up? World Senior Sicily, 401, 18.23%. Is anyone going to push us? Is anyone going to push us a little closer? Or do we have to cancel the trip? I have about 105 games. Oh, Bob, get my game in. Wait. Bob, how can I get your game in? You mean like you submitted like your band or something? Fred is sad. Bob, where is your game? Should I like telepathically put it in there? You sent me a message. Well, what are you, like chat band? It's weird. I don't know why it doesn't show up. What? You're gonna make me analyze this crap? Such a jerk. Alright. Blowfish. Blowfish Mocker. Mach 3 Blowfish. Oh, let me guess. Hey, it's the Smith-Morra. Again, what's the Smith-Morra's overall record? It's so sick, man. 26% for white, 39% for black. It's not fair. White is only negative 0.2. I'm going to dedicate my life to an opening that's like negative 0.2 for white. I don't know, man. We might get it down to negative 0.1 if we're lucky. All right. E6. Knight f3. This is Blowfish versus Bebo. It's a 3-minute game, so a lot of time to think here. We're going to see some very deep chess in this time control. Knight f3, knight e7, not recommended. Knight e7 is not recommended unless you're purposely trying to smothered mate yourself after knight b5. Now, I have a question. I mean, it's kind of naive, but if we did knight b5 right away, what would happen? I mean, clearly, like, black's going to play either d5 or... I mean, is that even a thing? Can you do that? Isn't black, like, lost after bishop f4 there? I would assume this is, like, a very bad scene for black. So if knight b5, he has to play a knight move, like knight g6, to prevent bishop f4, you know, versus like knight c6 when our knights are like redundant, right? And then just like blunk, bishop takes d6, queen d6. White has compensation. This is far too conventional for our hero. All right. Anyway, he wants to transpose to his favorite line or something. Now black plays knight on bc6, so we're back into, you know, a much more common scenario. There is one game with knight b5 here, but the difference is rather important, I guess. d5 hits the bishop with tempo. If you do this now... Oh, Sebe has a game with black. So what happens on d5? What happens here? What happens here? It's still bishop f4? No, obviously any sort of queen a5 check, we have like knight to d2, or even just a king move. What the hell? This is totally winning for white. Oh, but this is not. Okay, here. Yeah, but I mean, this is really complex. I have no idea what's going on. Check. King e7. Damn, dude. I mean, I bet there's a lot of traps here and stuff. Knight e7 is bad. Well, I'll just say it's probably not great, you know. But what would happen in this game, man? What happened in this game? Knight b5 is like the #1 move of the engine. And only one game happened where Seve was black. Yeah, this is what I'm asking. Like, what's up with d5? The guy didn't even play that. That's unbelievable. This is like the critical question. I mean, d5, of course. Can you believe there's not like one game where that happened? That's crazy, man. I mean, maybe knight b5 is not so great at the end of the day. Okay. So you played bishop g5. You know, I think Palkovi wrote a book on this opening. Actually. But it's like an older one. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he just wrote books on like the Alyakin defense. Something else, I thought. Alright, Yozef. So h6 or f6 or a6. It's weird that black's playing without a6. So it's kind of rare to play without a6. He's provoking white. Now f6. And you have f4, which is a knight g6 tempo. Okay, so this makes the most sense here. And let me turn off the engine. Normally what I want to do, what I've seen and what I think people try to do is play knight d4, open this up, castle, and play for f4. You know, we want to play f4 and then like jam him with f4, f5. Now a6, watch what happens here. When you throw in a6, bloop, there's like a transposition. And suddenly we go back into like a well-known line or a more well-known line. And I think move 11 had a game like this. The what? Oh no. Wait, you played queen d5 because you snorted too much mushroom fumes or something? Are you serious? I beat Schumacher down a queen the other day. I mean, this is the normal approach. We're playing for f4, f5, and queen h5. So this is a drug move. We're just trying to troll our opponents. He's threatening bishop b6, like winning back the queen. Then he'll only be down a piece, so it's very good. b5. Again, threatening to play bishop b6, so we're only down a piece. This guy's accurate. He even prevented that. Now h4. I would think like h5 might not be a bad idea. Kind of keep the status quo here. But he develops instead. And then this move. Yeah, I wouldn't have allowed h5. That seems unnecessary. Although still you're insufficient. Your compensation is insufficient. I was expecting like h6 at some point. I could see the possibilities here. And then h6. No h6. h6 looks perfect. He takes it, you play check, and then it's mate. How can you not play h6? This is like the perfect mate. h6 is really hard to meet. Like, what's he gonna do on that? I guess he has g6, but I mean that's pretty horrible too. I guess you're gonna need to open this up after all. I told you black should have played h5. I would have stopped you in your tracks with h5. Show me how you're gonna beat him there. It's not so easy. Acerbate would enjoy this. Now h6. Well, your bishop's blocked. So he's busy taking that bishop over there. You take there, rook g8. And then knight f6 check. How does this work? What? This was really bad. This is like super unsound. And then you got some freaky mate. I thought you were gonna say like rook f6 works. Short of squares here, but there's no mate. Jeez. That's a pretty move. And if he takes, it's like mate in one. So he has to play king f7. And then rook f6 check. And then here, and there's no mate. I think the basic idea here is that, you know, you convince your opponent that you're some kind of guy trolling them with a computer, and they just like give up hope because they think they're playing a computer. He just psychologically gave up. Nice. Alright, yeah, nice mock victory. Mach 3 master. Chapter 10 didn't go through. So that's good. After all that, Saeed, after all that, the Mach 3 master. Hello, dear. Why is this not working? No. No. Saeed, I'll just have to do it from your study, dude. You made this really difficult somehow. I don't know how you did that, but I can't copy your study. It doesn't matter. I'll just do it like this. Just don't move the pieces. Alright. I guess you're black. You're an E4 player, right? You're white? Oh. I thought you, what are you, Asterbate? I thought you were playing E4. Everybody's playing B3 now. Asterbate played E3 here, and it was like, there's not one game in Opening Explorer, is there? Oh, there is. Okay, that was a different position. My bad. Bishop B2, E6, E3, D5. You know, so as I was saying, Asterbate, you can play a... It's legitimate to play a Larson, Nimzovich Larson attack, especially if black has played E6, which is a little bit on the passive side. Now C4. This is a like Kali. I don't know what to call it actually. It's like a Queen's Gambit ready Kali system, whatever. Okay, now knight to C3. I think this will transpose to another opening, like the Queen's Gambit or the Queen's Indian or something like that, or the Slav. Now the problem is, I had this game where I won a really interesting game in the World Senior last year, basically same position, where I did like Rook G1. I didn't do it yet in a couple moves, in another move or so. I think I played Queen C2, and then on the next move I did like Rook G1. I think he did A6. Yeah. So my game's not in there because it was played and I guess it hasn't been in the database, but I'm pretty sure I did this. And we have a strong attack with this. Bob doesn't follow my games. He says I play boring chess, but this is the idea. If you saw my games from the World Senior, it was pretty serious. Alright, C6, D4 now. Okay, you don't need to do that. You know, I mean, I think it's more flexible to play this. Black's bishop is passively placed. His best defense is something like B6, probably. And now here there's even a game with Rook G1. You can rip it up with G4 if you want. Yeah, Nepomniachtchi did. I've seen Hikaru play like this. There were people before Hikaru. There was chess before Hikaru, too, believe it or not. And before streaming. But black's play is too passive with bishop e7. That bishop should be on d6. Bangtown, California. In Kaleidoscope guy. Alright. Anyway, like I don't like black setup. You know, I don't think you should play c6. I guess the moral of the story, if your bishop's on e7, you shouldn't play c6. Either you play c5 and you play a kind of like semi-Tarash, or you play b6 and you play a Queen's Indian type position with bishop b7. It just doesn't make sense to play c6 here. Notice that c6 is only played in a handful of games. c5 or b6, that's it. I'm not a big fan of this. You know, people will do this in like c5 or whatever. But, you know, I don't see how it's advantageous for black to trade away from the center necessarily. Anyway, so d4, you just go back into kind of a good, it's a relatively good, like, semi-Slav. Bishop d3, rook e8. Black's passive here. And now b6, and black's problem is, like, he doesn't have any place. You know, in the semi-Slav, you need your bishop on d6. So it helps you to play for e5. Also, like Magnus has done, I've seen games and other players where black plays like bishop d6, queen e7, and even bishop a3 to trade pieces. So now you did this. I don't know. The 95 is a weird move. I think you have a good game. I would think that you would want to just go for it with e4 here. Let's say e4 takes, knight takes e4. I mean, it's a matter of timing, obviously. You know, black might have something like c5. Let's see. Yeah, apparently it's borderline. I've had some interesting games where I was even able to like sack a pawn with something like c5 and similar structures. But that's usually requiring probably more development. Asunya Neto here played queen e2, which is, yeah, I mean, this is totally normal. You play queen e2. I bet I have this position like in games. Let's see. Nope. Not this exact position, but very similar ones. Queen e2, rook d1, rook e1. That's pretty standard. So you did 95, okay. So you're playing it like a Queen's Indian. There's ideas of queen f3, queen h3, f4. If you try to play for f4, you know, black will probably play c5. So he takes. This is a major development now. This could be weak. This could be a good square for black, but you could also just be clearly better. Now, normally I would play f4. But the problem is what? Knight c5? Or maybe... Oh, this looks good. I mean, you're just better. So why not? You exchanged. Can he play knight takes e5? Bishop h7 check? King h7? I don't know about this. This is kind of weird. It's interesting. What's wrong with f4? He thinks black's okay after that. So the computer wants to just throw in this like in-between move to attack h7. How does that work exactly? Let's say g6, f4, knight c5, bishop e2. White has space advantage. I don't think that black should take on e5 necessarily. Though this knight is passively placed, he can play c5. Oh no, he can't. He has to play bishop b7 first, okay. Bishop b7, f4, c5. So this is a question. Yeah, he's under some pressure. I mean, you have this type of idea. Let's see, cd5, ed5, queen f3. I had a position just like this. I lost with black. Not easy for black. Not easy. White's a little bit better. Alright, so takes, here, here, here. Oh, this is the game continuation. Okay. Yeah, well, he doesn't have to do that, you know. I mean, what I'm saying is, like, I would expect probably this would be the more likely continuation. I just wanted to mention, I was a little surprised. This is a sharper move. And then you did take, but you're giving up your white squared bishop. Though I don't know what other option you have here. I guess you don't have an option. Yeah, I wouldn't have given him that opportunity. I mean, I think you should just play f4. The computer is like here. What happens here? Like takes, bishop takes h7 check. What's up with that? It's pretty unclear. White's better according to the engine, but it's not that clear. I don't know. I would have played f4. I wouldn't have played 95 though. You know. All right. Now you lost your light square bishop, so this is an issue. Black has a bishop pair. I think he should be okay. You know, maybe better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, black's better. Takes toward the center. That's given a dubious, but I mean that's kind of the. I would say this is the like normal recapture. This is more dynamic. It does open the rook though. Yeah, that makes sense. And now you might have e4. If e4, d4, e5. It's pretty complicated. This could be dangerous as well. Is that best? e4. I don't know. He could get out of the pin, so apparently not, but the move the computer's recommending there was pretty lame. Okay, queen e2. If you don't do something, you're slightly worse. You're going to trade bishops. Yeah. So you managed to stabilize. You're only slightly worse. And so this was a really bad move. e5. And his pawn center is pretty dynamic. So black's a little bit better. But he doesn't have to play queen g5. I mean, this is like, what would a solid player here? Yeah, rook c8. Rook c8, f4. And if e5, fe5, queen e5, you have a weakness here. It's probably a draw. He lets you set up this blockade on the dark squares, and then you could be better. He missed d4 several times. And his bishop ends up bad. You know, black's got the pawns fixed on the wrong color. He starts drifting to a passive position. Yeah, you played g4. That's really crazy. I guess this was a fast game. Toxic Lyrics, thank you. Yeah, g4 weakening your king. Yeah, it's surprisingly difficult. Without the c file, do you have some way to play rook d2, rook c2 here? If white could play this and then get over to the c file, yeah. Well, I mean, the knight looks great on f5, but you have no rook. So apparently he has this, and I guess he has mating threats on the long diagonal, which are problematic. Your inability to use your rook was the problem. Yeah, this is like a one move shot, but it might not even be that good. He should probably play d4 here, trying to trick you into this when he like checkmates you with queen g4. Clearing that diagonal for black would be a good idea, but instead he did that. And now you made a crazy move. I mean, this pawn is 2 squares from becoming a queen. So you could have played 97 check. That still doesn't look great. Amazingly, I was winning here with queen c2. Amazingly, I was almost winning here with queen c2. I didn't realize you were black the whole time. We started, you told me you were black. Alright. And after f takes e3, you're almost winning with queen c2. Well, it gets out of the fork, and you're threatening d4. And he does have... Yeah, you're threatening the rook, too. I mean, that's really strong. No, I don't think it's amazing. You're better coordinated than white. He was not able to get his rook coordinated. This is ridiculous. Rook d4. He's trying. I mean, he's trying to stop it, but there's nothing about the pawn. He just did that to stop the d pawn and protect g4. He needs a mate. He needs a mate. You got queen g5, right? This is really sick. e2. Now mate in 1. Right? Threatening mate in 1. And you can sack your queen for a series of checks to clear. Right? You could simply play queen g5, but I guess how clear is that? Well, that's probably good enough. Right? Oh no, you're losing your rook. Does that matter? Yeah. You're losing your rook. So you have to sack the queen with like queen g1. Queen g1, king g1, queen check. Queen g1, king g1. Is it forced? By the way, he could just like avoid it with this. But then your queen would check. So king f3. And then now there's some crazy win like this. He can make a knight and checkmate you. I mean, you could make a knight and checkmate him. So what, queen g1? Well, it's actually queen f1 mate. Oh, okay. Well, that's easier. That's easier. I didn't see it was mate. Yeah. Queen e7? Oh my god. So he played rook d4, but he had queen e7. That's an awesome move. Yeah, I didn't see that. And then white just like upped the exchange. Oh man, that's pretty sick. So take, king f7, take. Bishop takes. And this one falls. g4 falls. I don't know. White still might have some winning chances. That was a really cool game. The opening, you know, I think was better for white. Just keep in mind that like bishop e7 is too passive. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, I put Bob's game in. Chanceyed. Queen e7 deep. Chanceyed is a subscriber. Guys, donate to the World Senior Fund. We've got no donations to the World Senior Fund today. How am I going to go? We're at 401. You guys got to send it up to 420. There's got to be somebody who smokes a lot of weed who's going to send it up to 420. I mean, that's the least we can ask for. All right. Last game. I gotta get some rest, guys. I'm still sick. We'll be back streaming tomorrow. All right. Profile, inbox, learn, study. Yeah, my studies. Here we go. We're back. Still under the weather a little bit here. This is Bob's. What? Didn't go through? Oh, Bob, you're such a pain, man. Analysis board. Okay. Nothing came through, of course. Get PGN. All right, I'll get the PGN, Bob. So annoying. It's from choose.com. So it's like a 1-0 game. Time control? Time control? Whatever. No, there's no time control. It doesn't have a time control. Copy. Tools, analysis board. Paste. Is this gonna work? It did work. No, it didn't. God damn it, Bob. Oh, it's your other account. What? What happened here? Where is it? Wait a minute, what's going on? Profile inbox. Where's your game, dude? Where did it go? It's there now. It's back. Get PGN. So annoying. Alright. Let's try it again. Can you not copy games from chess.com, dude? Seriously. Get a life, man. Like a chess noob. Alright, we finally got it. Alright, so this is like... Hikaru's white? Whoever won. Hikaru's black. Be the Hikaru. Hikaru's white. It's the hyperbolic kid. I'll be Hikaru's side. What is this, 1 minute chess? It's possible to play knight d4 here. This is a funny position. This is a funny position. I think people have done this and then like sacrifice the piece here. Erdoschlapschen. It's just retarded, man. That's so stupid. Laption's crazy. Yeah, thank you for the gift sub for Saeed's. Alright. So, we're playing knight here. And we're transposing. If black plays knight f6, we transpose to a king's Indian. So this turns out to be the number one move here. Now, what's the idea? I guess to try to discourage f5. Like if you play f5, I take. If you take with the pawn, you got problems with this square. But something about white's position is a little artificial. That knight is like, it's just not in a great position. So I like Hikaru's move. The problem is, white has an advantage on the queen side. White's space advantage on the queen side isn't like necessarily going away. But one would expect white to play like h4 here. Well, there's a Furintosh game from 1975. I mean, there was chess before Hikaru. And Andrew Tang. Andrew Tang is my favorite. He's such an awesome player. Clicks the mouse better than anyone. No, but Hikaru deserves credit. Hikaru is really a good player. He went from being a phenomenal blitz player to legitimately phenomenal player, which is pretty amazing, honestly. I like h5. You know, h5 makes sense. But I think white should stop it. It's not so easy for black after this. But the point is, like, on the queen side, like, white is just better over here, eventually. So what is black going to do? You know, we're going to try to get in f5. We're going to play, like, Nona Gapardashvili and just trade our bad bishop with, like, bishop h6. But this, encouraging h4, I don't know, man. I don't see how bishop e2... I don't see how bishop e2, like, inducing h4 is good for white. Black's just kind of got some free space on the king side. So, that seems stupid. f5. And now the question is, like, should white take? Like, for example, pawn takes, bishop h5, check, move the king. And at the end of the day, it probably like sucks for white. So he doesn't do that. White plays bishop g5. Oh no, he did this. Wow. Oh, he did it. He took. And then he played bishop g5. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Maybe just knight f6. Hikaru decided to trade it off with bishop f6. It's a pity, though, because this bishop could have been very strong in the long diagonal. It's not a no-brainer. You know, I think this definitely deserves consideration. That's a nice-looking bishop, but at the same time, our bishop has incredible scope in the long run. So I'm not sure, you know. This is right. Check, king f8. And now he takes, loses tempo. Bishop f3. That's a weird decision. It's like he's trying to induce e4. This has to be like a really fast-paced like bullet game or some kind of bullshit. Black should think about this. You know, there's no need he has to push e4. These pawns are beautiful. And I would think that black could just play slowly here with tremendous strong center. I mean, if c5, for example, white probably has to take en passant. But the center looks so juicy. I mean, yeah, black's just better, man. This move is impatient. It almost seems like white was trying to induce that. Why else would he put his bishop on f3? You know, he could go back to e2, but he intentionally put it on f3. He's trying to induce you to play e4, but you don't care and you do it anyway. Okay, bishop e2, and then knight g6, trying to use this square. White has now the d4 square for his queen. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of random shit happening here. A lot of random shit. Don't make me analyze bullet games. Is a lesson of this. Both sides need to develop their pieces. I would recommend bishop e7 and queen e7, probably for black. But instead he played f4. Maybe better than it looks. Takes. The knight is active. The king is in a crazy place here. Now g2 is guarded. This pawn on e4 became kind of a weakness. It doesn't seem clear what black has. He's like overextended his center. Queen e7, queen d4, yeah. I would say like black played into white's plan. He like induced him to overextend the center. Hikaru had a great position and he overextended himself. And then he does this, which is like, you know, well, what are our alternatives? We don't really want to do this. Does white have a threat? I don't see a threat. I really don't see a threat. But the problem is we can't castle or anything. I would think bishop d7, and then white will probably castle queenside if he can. I don't know about taking this bishop. And then like king f7. And white's got to be better. But look, it's like plus 0.3. It's pretty close. But this move is like a strategic catastrophe. What Hikaru played here. That's, you know, he knows that's not good. I mean, this is like, kill me with the trash compactor now. This is, wow. This is big, man. That pawn avalanche there, that looks really dangerous. And it's not clear that black has any way to really stop it. White now played rook g1. But my main focus would be on this, you know. He could play c5. I mean, does black have any threats here? He was clearly afraid of black grabbing the g file, but I'm not sure that matters, you know, what's going to happen on the g file. You know, something else occurred to me. There's this that can be guarded by like rook h7. Not ideal. And then here, this isn't supported. So knight b5 is not all that great. What about just like castling queenside? We're going to get hit by that, but is that a big deal? You know, maybe Hikaru has some way to reach an ending, but I mean, he's worse. This is such a bad structure for black. Even if the pawns don't go through, I mean, black just has a bad structure. 3 isolated pawns to 2. Alright, so take, rook g1 here. And then, uh-oh. Right? And it's interesting he refused to castle queenside again. It's almost like he didn't know if he could castle queenside or not. I suppose the point is like he wants to take with the king on d2, e2. So he goes here so that if here, he plays here. Whereas if castles queenside, this would drive his knight back, and he didn't want to do that. So that's reasonable, but, you know, it does get in the way. The trash compactor never started rolling here. And I think that's White's greatest asset. Yeah, and then Hikaru, like, goes directly at the trash compactor. Staring it down. I mean, d6 is really tempting. But maybe it wouldn't be so good. Black could blockade. I don't know. c6 is risky. Yeah, d6 is a move. So white just hung the exchange? Wow. What? Oh, man. So this is the quality of bullet chess. Princeton just hung an exchange. Hikaru just with a snap tactic. Check here. Oh, man. So if he had gone king e7, might have made a difference. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Black is better still. It's interesting though, Hikaru like refused to take that bishop. I guess he'll say, oh, knights are better in bullet chess or whatever. But it seems like reasonable to take this piece off. Now he does take it. So we're going to see how black loses a slightly better ending. The trash compactor does finally play a role here in the ending, although it shouldn't be enough to win. I think the question is whether white is holding on for a draw or not. It's plus 1.8 for black. He could have played c5 right away. He did basically the same thing. Takes. Knight d5. It looks like Schumacher playing me or something. And I expected bishop b7 now, which actually looks like a really good move. After bishop b7, I don't know. I don't like white's chances. He can maybe hang on. It's not easy. And now it's just lost. Like, white is probably just lost. We're going to see someone hang a rook or something. That's real chess. Oh, you lost on time in a totally winning position. Oh, brother. This was actually a mistake. So Hikaru should play... Objectively, he should play king f6. He was sloppy here. After king f6, it's just game over. Black's totally winning. He played bishop c8, allowing this knight to come into d5 or whatever. Now the two knights has some tricks. That was bad. And now he lost on time. Wow, that was awesome, man. No, all right. I mean, it wasn't that bad of a game. Like, so Grandmaster's playing bullet chess. It's like me playing 5-minute or something, But at the end of the day, it's still pretty crappy. You gonna sell the analysis to Hikaru? I think he would probably agree with a lot of the stuff I said. All right, man. Anyway, guys, World Senior. We're looking for 420. We're only at 401. We're going to be streaming tomorrow. I haven't decided yet, so you have to look for me. And if you haven't already, guys, please check out our stream on Kick. Kick.com/Slaggy. Put it in there. You'll submit more bullet games next time. Well, at least if you're going to submit a bullet game, make sure they're like 2700. Below that, it's like really bad. Hikaru playing a bullet game is like me playing a 5-minute game. I mean, it's bad, but it's not that bad in most cases. He lost on time in like what was probably a winning position. All right. Anyway, thanks guys for support. We got some gift subs. I'm going to be back on Friday morning, I think 11:30 a.m. CEST. Again, not sure. I haven't decided whether I'm going to stream here on Kick. Maybe we'll stream here again. Mr. Move 11. No games for tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I need your support. So don't forget to follow over on Kick and donate to the World Senior Fund. I love you all. Have a great night. And thanks to Mr. Coffee. Appreciate his help as always. Have a great evening, guys. Take care. Laters.